Good morning, I'm meteorologist Claudia Olech. Early this morning, still tracking active severe thunderstorms. It has been with us for the last few hours, I should say. Still leading to severe thunderstorm warnings into parts of Ogle, Lee, and even Carroll County as well. So thunderstorms still moving in, most of them bringing that damaging wind gusts and hail threat. Hence why we are still seeing those warnings. Doesn't expire until 7:15. Radar indicated those gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. And the hail about a quarter in size, and even that's about an inch in diameter. So really not want to be caught in any of this activity. If you know anybody going out and traveling, be sure to tell them just to stay put. So when it does come to some of the warning boxes, here's a better look at where we are still seeing the active severe thunderstorm warning. So just about 10 more minutes for this warning in parts of Carroll County. That does include Lanark. And then we are seeing the warnings here in parts of Ogle and both DeKalb County, still in effect as well until 7:15. I'm just going to glance really quick and see if there's any new information from the National Weather Service as we continue to see this active severe thunderstorm warning. So still in effect until about, again, we are going to see this for the next 10 minutes or so. 7:15 is also when it expires. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts along with that hail up to a quarter in size. So here are the warnings, but when it does come to the storm itself, we are still seeing that moving through these areas. So let's start into parts of Carroll County, who is still under parts of that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, really just the corner sliver there, but also seeing this slowly moving into Ogle County. So here is part of that warning box. Notice it's even gotten smaller since last time we've been tracking, but it does look like that heavy rain is moving through, could bring some hailstones, and some of this also starting to move through places like Foreston. So you'll notice it's moving to the east. A lot of heavy rain through Foreston, just closer now moving into parts of Polo and even to the north of Oregon there. So again, this is where we are seeing some of these signatures of heavy rain, but that severe thunderstorm warning just still in parts of Carroll County. When it does come to your hail tracker, though, it does look like we are still seeing some of that now moving into parts of Foreston. One thing, though, I do want to try out is slicing this cell as it continues to move through and produce that hail. That'll actually give us a better idea of what this entire cell looks like and what it's bringing as it continues to move further to the east. So a big slice there. Looks like we have two separate cells that we're looking at. It does go pretty high, over 30,000 feet. So you can see how tall some of these updrafts are. And the higher that they are, the more energy and strength they have to keep some of those hailstones aloft, meaning they're allowing them to get bigger. That's really the best way that we can tell how strong some of these updrafts are, is especially looking at them vertically. So when it does come to some of these cells, moving this around, really starting to see those signatures. So you see where some of these very bright colors are coming up, the pinks, the reds. That's a very strong and tall updraft. I mean, it's exceeding 30,000 feet at that point. So really starting to see those impacts, especially that hail tracker giving us a better indication of some of that hail. So clearing this, another thing I want to glance at is also the turbulence. That will give us a better indication of where some of those gustier winds are at the moment. Here's a better look a little bit more further out, and we'll zoom right back into that location because I'm seeing some indication of some of those stronger winds here. So where you're seeing the brighter colors, I mean, that's right over Foreston. So that's a cell that we were just looking at that could also still produce some hail. If it's not quarter in size, could be nickel, just one step lower than that. But there's some of those stronger wind gusts close to even German Valley, Leaf River. You're going to be up next. So know anyone within these areas, or if you are about to head out the door, give yourself just a few more minutes. This is all about to slide out and come to an end. But also taking a wider look, we could pan down. We'll now transition to the other area that is still seeing that active severe thunderstorm warning closer to I-88. So zooming in there, still seeing some of these signatures along with, again, that hail. That's been really what's been pointed out through a lot of these examples. So some of those gustier conditions really within areas just to the south of Route 30 in DeKalb County, also seeing that through Waterman. But when it does come to that that hail signature, we saw some impressive values coming up through some of that heavier hail that we saw there. So panning around, we did see again through West Brooklyn, Willow Creek, especially through DeKalb. My goodness, I mean, just really slicing the county by this feature itself. And we saw that even through parts of Waterman, slowly moving out. So you're noticing that a lot of this is slowly getting out of the area, but we are still under that active severe thunderstorm warning. So checking for any updates. It does look like we still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect, as we're still seeing that stronger line of thunderstorms. It's slowly starting to move into DuPage County, however, at around 50 miles per hour. But again, still seeing the impacts of not only the stronger winds, but obviously the damaging hail as well. So quarter in size, that could pack a punch, especially to things like your vehicle. You do not want to be caught out in some of this activity. So if you're heading out the door, give yourself just a few more minutes, or if you know anybody, give them a heads up. Hey, you might want to hang on a second. There is some damaging hail and some really destructive thunderstorms moving through. So right now is a really good time to get away from those windows if you haven't already. So important, because we could see damage to the windows of your home, siding, roofs, even some trees and down tree branches that could in turn lead to down power lines and of course power outages. Flooding, rain is also possible. I do want to take a look at the rainfall with this entire system moving through, because it has definitely led to a lot of us seeing that heavy rain moving through parts of the area. So where you are seeing some of these little spots of green, that's closer to an inch, if not higher. So we're seeing that through parts of Lanark, Forest, and Polo, where a lot of that heavy rain is moving through as we speak. So you may even see some localized flooding. Turn around, don't drown. If you see a flooded roadway, the best bet is to just turn around and find a safer alternative route. And still seeing some of that even through parts of DeKalb County, as well areas just to the east or west there, I should say, of Rochelle. So still seeing heavy rain as a concern, along of course with the damaging wind gusts and hail. So here's what radar looks like, still actively tracking this entire line of showers and thunderstorms. It looks like it's slowly moving out of Lee County. Most of DeKalb County, though, still seeing at least heavy rain. So when it does come to any new warnings, we're not seeing much of that at the moment. I am just glancing to see if there's any brand new information as we continue to track this active severe thunderstorm moving through. So when it does come to that cell that we talked about, located right over Forston as we speak, so just 9 miles north of Polo, it's moving east at about 30 miles per hour. So that part of the storm looks to have slowed down just a bit, but we could again still see some gustier winds, 60 miles per hour, and quarter-sized hail, something that we did see at least indicative through Exact Track and some of the trackers that we do have. So I'll let this loop to show you how this is all starting to move. So those within Joe Davis and Stevenson County, you are good to go. Not seeing any activity in these areas anymore or anything coming in behind it. Southern Wisconsin still good as well. It looks like Winnebago County, you're in the clear along with Boone County. So really that threat is still just to the south of US 20 and especially close to I-88. So still tracking this active threat. We still have about 3 more minutes on some of these warnings. We'll have to see if they do get extended. But when it does come to this warning in effect right now in parts of Carroll County, at the moment, it looks like we're seeing some of this threat getting a little bit closer to now Forreston and Ogle County. So here's what that looks like. There's your warning box, but at the moment you're seeing that heavy rain getting close to Brookville. Forreston, it just moved through, and you could see now moving into Leaf River, Polo, Pine Creek, Oregon, Byron. You are up next. So still another round of that heavy rain. And again, even potentially some of those hailstones, if not quarter sized, which would be warning criteria, could still see a nickel, so still could hear some of those hailstones coming down. Speaking of hail, let's check in on our hail tracker to see if there's been any updates. So really starting to see some of those signatures in places like Leaf River and Byron at the moment. Also stretching into Davis Junction. So that's the bright blues and these colors that you're seeing at the moment, giving us a better idea of where some of the largest hailstones are, but also the amount of them. So we could also be seeing a lot of that hail moving through. So really good to just hang tight. If you were going to leave for the morning, just make sure you give yourself a little extra time, or also just hang tight, let this pass through. We are almost over when it comes to the warnings itself, but still tracking this threat for the hail. Now, when it does come to some of the stronger winds, let's toggle on velocity to see if it's giving us any idea of the stronger wind gusts. See this brighter green signature coming through right into Byron, getting closer to Davis Junction. That's a good indication, I should say, of some stronger wind gusts. So again, we're talking to about 60 miles per hour. That could lead to some damage, plus plenty of lightning. You can see some of those lightning strikes here on this as well, as we continue to see a lot of lightning, damaging wind gusts, and also hail, not to mention the heavy rain as well. So make sure you are taking cover and giving yourself some time. I will zoom out of this just to see if there's any of these signatures that we could see a little bit further to the south there, as we are still tracking that threat into parts of Lee and now DeKalb County at the moment. So taking a closer look, still seeing that active severe thunderstorm warning, checking if anything has been updated. Looks like that warning for Carroll County has been expired. At the moment, though, still in effect for parts of both Lee and Ogle County, or I should say DeKalb County. So not seeing much for any of those stronger indications of the damaging wind gusts. Could be seeing some of that through parts of Waterman. The turbulence feature will also show us that as well. So there they are, a little bit further to the north of Rochelle, a better indicator there. So still seeing some gustier winds. And again, if you can make it out here, plenty of lightning with this. So we just got a brand new strike there. So definitely still seeing that through parts of our area. I will zoom out and give you another look of where some of these warnings are, because some should have expired, if not been canceled. Now, when it does come to the warnings at the moment, not seeing any in effect at this moment through our very direct area. Still seeing them just to the south of Lee and DeKalb County, moving closer to the Chicagoland area. So right here back at home, we are no longer seeing any warnings. You could still see some gustier winds, smaller hail, and also heavy rain. So please keep this in mind as you're heading out the door, or know anybody leaving for the day. Otherwise, we'll continue to keep you posted, keep our digital platforms updated as well, and tune right back in if we do see any brand new warnings. But for now, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you stay safe and have a great rest of your Tuesday.